Oh boy.
Oh my gosh, 10 seconds. Forgot to plug the microphone in. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Taylor Field, and I am here bringing you your second episode spoilers review of Chucky, the series. That is right. So, before we get into that, again, you know the format. It's going to be a little bit of non-spoilers, and then we'll get into it, but we got some plugs. So, be sure to check us out, GeekVerse Podcast. You can find us everywhere. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerseCast is our Twitter. GeekVerse on Facebook. Be sure to check us out on our Facebook because right now we have the fan base community poll that is popping off. Freddie just came out as the winner of the semifinals. And we have, at this moment, Tim Curry's Pennywise the Clown versus Michael Myers from Halloween. So it's going to be interesting to see who the other semifinalist contender is, and then we get into the finals. So we'll see who is facing off against Freddy Krueger. In other news, go check out our DC fandom coverage that we did this past weekend. We covered the entire event, talked about all the trailers and all the new upcoming projects in the works. And we also, me and Travis, did a review for Halloween Kills. And we also have a review by me, Kirklin, and Travis of season 3 of You that you can find on our feed. On top of that, we have Dune review coming out this weekend, and we also have a newscast, which is probably going to be later. It'll be after this. It'll be with Travis and Kirkland diving into a whole whackload of good content. What else do we got? Well, I mean, the big cheese is Extra Life. That is happening November 6th, Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, make sure you tune into that because we have a whole ton of events that's going to be unfolding. We have team trivia battles. We got video game events going on. I'm going to be facing off against Kirkland and Call of Duty Vanguard for the first time. Whole array of stuff. And the best part, if we reach our goal of $2,500, which will all go towards the BC Children's Hospital, if we can hit that, I will be shaving my head. This hair is getting really messy. I sound like Travis right now. This hair is getting super messy. I need it gone. It's got to get out of here. I can't wait. This is the same hair I had at my wedding. I can't wait for it to just be shaved off and just fresh, especially this time of year when it's cold, it's brisk out. It's going to feel so good. But not only that, if I believe the goal is a stretch goal of 3,500. There's a 3 in there somewhere. If we hit that, Jessica is going to just shave all her hair off too. I don't know what's going to happen with the hair afterwards, but it'll be off her head, and that'll be pretty intense. So yeah, make sure you tune into that because it's going to be a good time. Just come say hi and everything. If you do donate, you will automatically be entered in for our contest giveaway, I should say, that we did last year as well. Basically, our Extra Life colored GeekVerse shirt. You will qualify to win one of those if you donate. And any of the Extra Life merch that we're selling on our TeePublic store, if you can find the links in our social media channels, all the shirts and the apparel that we're selling for Extra Life, 100% of those proceeds will go directly towards the Extra Life charity donation amount. So it definitely, it all adds up. We're just trying to do everything we can to earn money for this good cause. So be sure to tune into that. It's going to be a good time. And it's our fifth annual stream, 24-hour stream. So yeah, what else is there? I feel like there's something and I'm blanking out what it could be. It'll come to me. So Chucky, episode 2. It's interesting because this episode obviously has a lot of fallout after the events of the first episode. Now, if you haven't seen the first episode, I don't know why you're listening to this episode 2 review. That's spoilers. Go watch the first episode, and then come back, rendezvous with me here, and we will talk season 1, episode 2. So the fallout of everything that unfolds in that first episode, you know, dad dying, everything, it's kind of resonating. I don't want to say resonate, carried over into this episode. Our characters are dealing with it, and our characters are developing more. And there's certain things that kind of unfold that seem like a little bit slow progression. Is just kind of like to the side. And I was talking to Travis a little bit while I was watching this episode, and I felt bad. Like I didn't want to spoil anything for him, but I realized there's not really much that I'm necessarily spoiling by talking about this episode. And I don't think that's a very good thing. It's not really positive. It just kind of felt like, okay, there's development for Chucky, and he's going about doing what he does, which I found very entertaining to a degree. There were some moments, which I can't wait to talk about in spoilers, that were actually quite humorous as far as humor can go in this setting. But yeah, it didn't seem like for the main human characters there was much development. It just seemed more or less like it was just kind of progressing along this trajectory, and it kind of was. I can't say that. That's spoilers. Nothing concrete was unveiled. So that being said, I feel like I'm going to jump into spoilers probably right now because I don't have much. Actually, I will say one more thing non-spoiler wise. Actually, there was one interesting question that was answered, and I wasn't expecting it, but they covered it as they covered it anyway. So it just made me feel more satisfied in the fact that they're kind of connecting to all the other, I guess, branches of movies that were created in this universe. I just thought I appreciated that instead of just disregarding certain things. And even though some of those things are not great, it was cool to see the acknowledgement. So I appreciate how they did that. But yeah, anyways, 3, 2, 1, we're going into spoilers. So where to start? I'm trying to figure out Chucky's plan. I want to know. The episode starts off though with Charles Lee Ray having a rough go at it when he's a little kid. The Halloween candy stuff, and he sees the apple with a razor blade, and he tricks you, and then he bites into it and he's bleeding and smiling. And I've never been compelled myself as a kid to bite into sharp objects, but to each his own. So goes on from there, and we learn, okay, Chucky's basically created a hit list, and Lexi is at the top. And I found it kind of like, this just seems not like original Chucky, but kind of classic humorous, over the top kind of horror, what they're trying to go for, in the sense where later in the episode he's jabbing a knife up into the bed, and she keeps like moving and rolling around, like avoiding it, like unintentionally. And I found that to be kind of cheesy and not really necessary. But to each his own. We got it, and that was in the episode, so whatever. Moving on from that, I definitely got a big kick out of just Chucky in general in this episode. Like, again, that whole like stabbing through the mattress thing, like cheesy as it is, moving past that, I found him walking out in public in this episode. The episode was absolutely hilarious. I'm not going to say cute because it wasn't on that level, but it was just hilarious. And he was wearing a Hello Kitty mask because he's just walking him. 100% it was a small little actor walking around, but this Halloween night, and he totally fits out there, and he's laughing and everything. Tricks a woman, and it was a foreshadow because he gives this woman a treat, which is an apple with a razor blade in it. Poor woman bit into it. Always check your candy, kids. But yeah, his goal is to get Lexi. He, for whatever reason, has this agenda to help this boy. Now, I'm trying to figure out what his goal is. So Lexi is obviously, she just amps it up because, again, they call back to the dad dying, and it's really unfortunate because Lexi's Halloween costume was just of Jake's dad, and it was just really, really, I want to say, I'm not going to use the word cringe, but just really upsetting and disheartening because she's just like pretending to be like electrocuted at this party that Jake didn't even want to go to. And so that's just another thing that's channeling and fueling the rage inside of Jake. And this is something, again, that we're seeing instances of Chucky trying to tap into and is trying to amplify. I'm trying to understand, okay, what is it Chucky's trying to do? Why is Chucky trying to turn Jake into a killer? And it's just very intriguing because before, Chucky's goal has always been, okay, immortality. Let's take over the host. I need to take over this body of this kid, live on forever, get out of the body of the doll. It just seems more and more, okay, like he's embracing it. And this time around, he's got like an apprentice that he's trying to guide. And it's interesting. Like, Jake doesn't seem to mind it. He is suffering abuse from Chucky, as we see, because Chucky like damages Jake's eye a little bit, or like it's like a bit of a bruise around there, and Jake just kind of shrugs it off. People around him, like his aunt and uncle, think it's simply makeup for Halloween as a costume, but Chucky again says, "Hey, I'm never gonna do that to you again. I'm sorry." And he just keeps stoking the fire, like, we need to hurt Lexi. And it's unfortunate. It really is. Now you have the dynamic of Chucky befriending Caroline, which is Lexi's younger sister, and you learn, okay, there that she has a very special gift of, photographic memory. For she saw Chucky, she drew a spot on an awesome piece of art to recreate what he looked like, and she remembers him very well. And they're playing video games together, which I thought was absolutely awesome. I don't know what the game was, but I just thought it was really, really, really interesting. So you have all these different things that are setting up for what I feel like Chucky could be picking maybe a host to go and take over after when things go sideways. And then he's also setting up Jake to be a killer. We get more of the dynamic between Jake and his cousin. And his cousin has that conscious, just where it's emanating off of him, where I feel like he's a good kid. And he even looked traumatized when Lexi was mocking him, or mocking like his deceased uncle. He seemed traumatized. And again, this is coming off of the fact that no one else knows, I don't believe, that their aunt, or no, sorry, not their aunt, their nanny died. At least, obviously, if she was murdered, we saw Chucky do it, which I thought was weird. Why Chucky was like saying, "I didn't do it. Like, I have no point. I got bigger fish to fry on my list," or something like that. But anyways, that's a horrible way to go. And for her death to be by dishwasher, I just thinking to myself, like, you always got to put the knives down. Like, and they make a point of saying it, like, you put the knives up, you think that you're getting a better clean. I'm sorry, I don't believe in that. That's just an accident waiting to happen. Because, like, even not to say you're gonna slip and fall and impale yourself on a row of knives, but even when you go to reach in to grab it, like, what are you supposed to grab? Like the blades? You just gotta be so bloody careful. But anyways, she died, and I don't believe Lexi or any of the friends of these two guys knew exactly what had happened. So you have Jake and his cousin coming off of this whole roller coaster of emotion where their nanny was basically killed, and they're trying to process that. They go to the Halloween party, and it's just, again, fun is poked at them, and they're kind of mocked, and everything that's being done to Jake, I feel like it's also being bullied and inflicted to the cousin. And now you have Lexi, who's just obviously not favored by her parents whatsoever, and she is trying to justify how she's feeling and how that she's being bullied by Jake, when it's definitely one-sided, and they're just poking fun at Jake for who he is. Like, even the guy that invited him to this party, it was really, really sad, because you have him, who it seemed like he was turning over a new leaf. And I thought, okay, this guy's being friendly to Jake. He's going to lure him to the party, do something planned with Lexi. And it was more or less not necessarily planned, but he just, when Jake arrived there with Devin, threw him into 7 minutes of hell or whatever in the closet. And I mean, nothing really came out of that. I guess we're getting to see a little bit more of that bonding connection between Devin and Jake. And I'm curious to see how that goes, because it's going to make Devin a target. But Devin is also trying to really understand and figure out, okay, what's going on with Chucky? Like, he knows something is up. So that's very intriguing as how that relationship is going to develop and what's going to unfold out of that storyline. You have Devin's mom, who is obviously leading the charge as the detective, trying to figure out, okay, what is the connection between these two murders? Jake was within proximity of both his dad and this nanny, housekeeper, passing. So again, there's no solid connection and evidence to relate him to both of them as like a murder, but it's enough justification to be suspicious, as is Devin's mom's like police cohort. He obviously has major suspicions about it, but again, it remains to be seen what happens from that. I am curious though, because we got this new setup where, okay, this woman who ate bit into the apple, realizes that something is off. I bit into this apple. This obviously is a little person with red hair that did this to me. Called the cops. Devin's mom shows up, and now Devin's mom realizes that, hey, there is something seriously wrong, because this doll, which she was trying to fill in the gaps with the witness here, like coveralls, red hair, good guy dolls says on it. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. As far as it goes for Lexi, she's pretty lucky to have made it out of this episode alive. I don't feel like anybody is really safe, but Chucky made an interesting point of saying if he wanted to, he could have killed everyone in the house, because I believe it's been about a week since the first episode. So Jake's been processing it, and this was the first episode, or this was the episode where he goes back to school for the first time since his father's passing. So it's interesting to see how that's kind of developing and how people are treating him. So I'm trying to think, what else is there? Oh yes, I got one very interesting thing we can jump to. So I'm going to jump to a quick ad break, and I'll be right back. And we're back. So I found it very interesting when we got to see the fact that, hey, see to Chucky, I had a son, and Chucky was trying to actually, I don't want to say compassionately, because he was kind of blunt about it, but he was trying to relate to a certain degree to Jake. And again, him saying that, hey, he had a son, and that acknowledgement of Glenn, or I guess what was, because Glenn had two names, Glenda and Glenn. So that was, again, the child that he had with Tiffany. And that was a very interesting Chucky movie. But so you have that mention. And I just thought that was great to have Chucky and this new, fresh take and perspective of the show and the character just kind of touch upon, again, like I said in the spoilers part, a weird part that may not be super favored by Chucky fans, but needless to say, we got it, and it was cool just to see that, hey, we're acknowledging that, and we're just going all steam ahead into this trajectory with everything that we've had. And I like that they're doing that, and I'm hoping we get a lot more acknowledgement to the other films in this franchise, because I think there's a lot of untapped potential. I definitely didn't mind Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky, and I'm probably one of the few that actually didn't mind it. Go check out our Netflix and Fail Cult of Chucky review. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we get more into the likes of, hey, there's not just one singular Chucky, but Charles Lee Ray can basically put himself and split his soul up into so many different things and entities and people. It'll be very, very interesting to see where that goes. Almost as if they're emphasizing more on the Cult of Chucky factor, and he's trying to just build more and more to his ranks, you could say, or something like that. And that's a loose explanation that I have, because I'm just trying to wrap around, and I know it's still early on. It's only episode 2, but I'm just trying desperately to figure out why Chucky is here. He didn't just end up in a garage sale by sheer dumb luck. He planted himself there, chose to be in that situation, chose to be bought by Jake Wheeler. So that's why I'm seriously just trying to figure out what is really going on in this scenario. I'm trying to think what else of significance happened in this episode. I mean, it ended with Jake definitely being succumbed to this darker side of himself. Chucky pulls out the knife and gives it to him, and he takes it willingly. So it'll be interesting to see how that's going to follow up in the next episode, and if Lexi is actually going to die in that episode, or are they going to keep her around, and it's going to continue on? Because, like I said, I don't feel like anyone is safe. So it'll be very intriguing to see how that goes. Yeah. I think that's all I got, though, for this episode. I'm super jazzed and excited. The development of the characters, their storylines, I'm definitely intrigued by. I was telling Travis, it's not like top tier 10 out of 10. I don't know if it's just their acting or if it's the script. As Travis would say, it's probably the script. I do feel like they're all pretty good actors. So I hope that things kind of pick up and develop a little bit more. This episode for sure felt more like it was a progressive for Chucky and just what his goals were, but didn't allude to a lot of what his main final objective is. We still don't know, obviously, what's happening with Andy. So it'll be interesting to see when that kind of comes back into play. But that's all I got. So I'll be back next week. You heard it on this past newscast, or you heard it on our past U review. Wednesdays is Chucky night, and I'll be popping off here talking about some Chucky, and we'll have a good time. So until next time, I'm Taylor, and I will see you in the search bar. Have a good one.